What is up, hackers? My name is Rahul and welcome to the Bug Bounty series chapter 2. So in this video I'll be talking about yet another vulnerability that you could look out for, and towards the end of the video I'll also be providing with you a complete resource on which is something that you will need to exploit this vulnerability or look for this one. So it is a complete A to Z a resource that you might need or which will prove to you quite helpful. So in this video we'll be talking about local file inclusion. I'll be talking about what this vulnerability is, where you can find it, and we'll also be talking about reports from HackerOne. So first of all, let us talk about what is LFI. So LFI stands for local file inclusion, and as the name suggests, it is including a local file from the web server itself. So as you can see, this vulnerability exists when a web server includes a file without correctly sanitizing the input. This in turn allows an attacker to manipulate the input and include other files from the web server. So for example, these are the list of files that are included in the web server. So now, for example, if by default you are provided with index.php file, now suppose there are two other files which you do not have access to. So what you could do in this case, what you could do is you could include their names, and if the name is not properly sanitized, you could also include them in the as a part of your response. Now why is this a vulnerability? Because the old files could have sensitive user information or like passwords and their other critical things like numbers, username, passwords, etc., or even phone numbers or social security numbers. So this is a vulnerability. Now all you will be needing to perform this attack is to understand what this is. It is // so it helps you to traverse one directory back. So for example, if you are in this directory, if I were to type in // you will be in the previous directory. So for example, let us just understand it this way. So there is a parameter called language is equal to en. Now what this is doing is it is going into the languages directory and putting in en and displaying it in the output. So what happens if I have to put // index.php.old? As you can see, this is the file which is a part of the web server, which is in the web server. Sorry, Sute. So if I have to include this, if this index.php.old's content are displayed as a part of the output, then the application in general is vulnerable to local file inclusion. So now where can I find it? So the problem with this is that there is no fixed place in which you can find it. Sometimes it comes naturally to you that this parameter or this endpoint could be vulnerable to local file inclusion. Sometimes it does not. So what you have to do is try to brute force. And the second thing is that don't confuse parameters for LFI endpoints. So here I have included deliberately this as an example. So for example, let's take the endpoint again. So now there are two parameters, both of them accept the same name, which is en and en. Now if I were to include // index.php.old and leave the name as it is, you'll see that no response is rendered or no difference is rendered in the output. So this ensures that it is not vulnerable to LFI. Now there are other things that you could try to, which I'll be including later, but as of now this is not vulnerable. Now what happens in the next example, what you do is you just change the name parameter with this thing. Now here you do find changes in the output. So this tells us that the name parameter is vulnerable to LFI. So again, I'm telling you that there is no hard and fast rule that this will be vulnerable and this will not be. All you have to do is try to brute force to your way out. So some of the parameters that you could look out for is file, page, name, etc., or include, etc. So for example, I'll be taking this report from HackerOne. I'll be including the link in the description. So the first example is without URL encoding. So here, as you just saw, that I have just included // index.php. So this is without URL encoding. So I'll tell you what URL encoding is and why do we do it. So this is a report from HackerOne. Now the user did not want to disclose the endpoint or the name of the website. So what he has done is he has put this part in the name of the website or on the resource. Now as you can see, the M parameter was vulnerable to LFI. So what he has done is he has moved a directories, traversed the directories backwards and moved to user share Apache icon spy. Now this was one of the ways in which he found this vulnerability. Now the second is, sometimes what you have is you have a firewall at place. Now what this firewall will do is that it will look for dot slashes and then it will remove the dot slashes. And sometimes there are other security mechanisms deployed which will specifically look for dot slash or other things, and it will just scrap them out and include anything that does not have dot slash in them, or just remove the dot slashes so that you do not try to exploit it in any way. But there are some countermeasures that you could do. You could first try to singly encode it. So as you can see, what this report suggests is that what the user did was, since dot slash was blacklisted from the application, so you could not try this. But what the user in turn did was, he tried dot percentile 2f. Now percentiles 2f, if you were to URL decode it, what will it equal to? It will just be equal to the /. Now this was done by the web server itself, but it did not blacklist this, because what was blacklisted? This was blacklisted, not this. Now if this goes into the web server, what will web server do? It will compare it with this. It is not equal to this. In the next step, what it will do, it will URL decode this part and it will then fetch you the output. So this is first encoding. Now sometimes even this is in a you blacklisted, so you're gonna try this. So what the user does is, what the user can do is, you can even try to double encode it. So this is called URL encoding. So this is double encoding. This was single encoding, and in the next encoding you even try to encode this part as well. So this is one of the things that you could try to look for LFIs. Now in the third report, first of all, I would like to tell you that you should have a proxy in place so that you can look out for these vulnerabilities explicitly. Because here, if you were to see this example or this report in general, what will happen is you will not be able to find any endpoint that was vulnerable. But if you were to look at the body itself, you'll see that what the hacker did was, or the researcher did was, he replaced the file name with dot slash, and everything was displayed in the output. So this is why you should have a proxy in place. So these are the 3 ports that I have discussed in this LFI video. And then as promised, I'll also be disclosing a resource which I have personally used. I haven't used it in trying for bug bounties, but I have done this in regular CTF competitions, and this generally helps. So oftentimes what will happen is, even this part, even dot slash index.php.old will be you'll not be able to find anything in this. What you can do is, you can try wrappers from here. So it will give you examples of all the things that you could try out. So instead of just trying index.php, you could try this as a whole. So to make you understand what this is, it will take a really long video. So instead what you could do is, you could look out specifically for PHP wrappers. So this is a complete summary of all the payloads that you could try to look for LFIs, so which I'll be linking in the description of the video. So thank you guys, this is it for the video.